Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. We've got another project that is not mine that I am working on for somebody else. We are getting ready to do headlights, tail lights, and signal lights, horn, all that in this. This is a guy's that I work with, and he's seen the build on this golf cart, and he wants to do the headlights, tail lights, signal lights set up like I have on mine. Well, his is gonna be a little bit different because it is, I don't know if it's a G2 or a G9. They're pretty similar. I think it's a G9, like my blue golf cart. His has got this big freaking brush guard on the front that I've got to get unbolted, and then in the back it's got a second seat. Well, you probably can't see, but I'll show you. So it's got another seat in the back, so we've got to do a lot of unbolting to get to what we need, and then we've got to take our template that I have already trimmed out, and that will go up there, and that'll show us where we got to cut out for our headlights. Now this is just a kit off of Amazon. You can buy them anywhere, but this one's for a club car. Even though this is a Yamaha G9, I'm gonna make it work, mainly because the headlight kit for this golf cart is almost $300, and that headlight kit was $135. So that's a big difference. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of modifying to probably the headlight bezel and probably the golf cart itself to make them work, but we'll get it working. So let's get tearing into this thing. I got to do some unbolting and some wire cutting. This front bar is wired up, but I can't get it to turn on, so I don't know what he's got going on there, but I'm gonna fix it. So let me get everything set up. Let's go. All right, so first thing we got to do is get this off of here, because I need access to this spot to be able to go in there and cut and do everything I need to do. So we got to take out these bolts. It looks like there's two on each side, and I'm hoping I grabbed the right wrenches. We'll find out. This one I did break loose already. I'm trying to figure out which size it was, but I don't know on the top one. I'm hoping it's a 14. So one bolt, washers, and a nut. I'd really like to have one of these for my golf cart. That thing is pretty nifty. So with that out of the way, we can get access to our headlight spots. And like I said, I'll show you if you can see it. This is where they had this wire ran. It was just like this, and that is the steering. right there. Right there is the steering arm. So that needs to come over here. And why it's got 4 wires and only 2 wired up, I don't know. We'll have to look through all that. He's got some other wiring going up through here, and I noticed there's other wires clipped off hanging down on this side. So not really sure what we got going on. This will be basically episode 1 of this golf cart. We're doing headlights, taillights, and he wants me to turn it up some. Well, on this model of golf cart, to turn it up, basically it has a governor. The governor is built into the rear end. So what you do is you bypass that, you take the throttle cable off of the rear end, and that goes to your gas pedal. It has a throttle cable that goes from there up to your carburetor. Well, you take off the one between the carburetor and the rear end, and you go straight from the gas pedal to the carburetor. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how it's set up. If anybody knows anything about these, they'll understand. But I will show you. It'll be in this video, hopefully, of us doing that. But part 2 will be, he wants to put a sound system in it. He wants radio, speakers, antenna, so he can listen to music and stuff while he cruises dirt roads and uses it around his house. So not going to be a wild sound system, but it'll be something, you know, that you can listen to and hear. I'm going to do all marina audio on it, so no worries about waterproof, shorting out, anything like that. But let's get back to this. Alright, so it's a couple days later. Haven't got out here to work on this, but I sent the headlights that I had originally ordered, that kit. It was for a DS. I sent it back. After looking at it and matching up everything, I didn't like the way it was going to look. So what I ended up doing was I sent the DS kit back, and I ordered the one for the G14, which is basically the same one I put in my G1 golf cart, the red and white one. So this is the kit, and this is everything you'll get if you order one. So you get your horn, you get your switch for your headlights and signal lights. It comes all pre-wired. This is all your wiring. This is your brake pad that when you put your foot on it, it activates it. And then of course your tail lights and headlights. And then it comes with, you know, your screws and zip ties, stuff like that. It also comes with cutouts, which I wish they wouldn't have folded, but we can make them work. And it only comes with one cutout. So what I did is I made an exact copy, or close to an exact copy, so I could get everything matched up and put it where I wanted it. And then I measured, and basically I used the front emblem here where the screws are, and I got 10.5 from center of that one to this one, and 10.5 from the center of that one to this one. And of course it's basically 4 inches up and down, so you know that's 2 inches in the center. So basically that's how I got my center. And then just well, I taped everything up there where I thought it should go, and then moved them around to get the right measurement. Basically I stuck one up there how I wanted it to look, and I matched the second one to it, if that makes sense, and then measured everything to make sure they were in the same spots. So what we got to do now is I actually had another old golf cart front from that I bought for a backup for mine, but it's in pretty rough shape, so ain't no big deal. If I need to use it, I can throw me a set of headlights in it and be good to go too. But I basically cut out the hole in it first to see how everything was going to fit, and that is how much you've got to cut out of this thing. Of course, that one was the other shape and I didn't like it, so if I did use these headlights in this front, I would have to probably add a piece back in right here to make the curve, but we won't have to do that on the customers. So I say customer very, very, you know, quietly, because I don't like working on other people's stuff. I mean, if it's a really good friend of mine, that's great, I'll work on it. But this is a guy I work with, you know, it's different to me. I take that stuff kind of, you know, different. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, yeah. So I got that, and I just wanted to show you guys real quick a couple things while I'm just rambling here. So I had this sign made. I thought that was pretty freaking cool. I hung it up out here in the shop. I wanted a bigger sign than that, but it's pretty neat. But that sign right there was $110 just for that size sign, and of course it was custom made and sent to me. And then I had some other stuff done. I got some stickers made up. It says Twisted Builds. Pretty cool stuff. I might at some point, if the channel grows big enough, I might offer some stickers, and I was thinking about maybe doing some shirts, hats, stuff like that, if anybody's interested. But anyways, let's get back to this golf cart. So we got everything set up the way we need it. Now I'm going to take basically the oscillator saw and cut that out. I'm going to mark it and then start cutting everything out and hope for the best. Nah, I'm pretty sure it'll be all right, but I'm always, you know, cautious when it's something that's not mine. But let's get to it. All right, so basically the first thing I'm going to do is just trace this out the best I can, keeping everything where it needs to be. Like I said, they folded this one, so it's kind of tricky, and I can't draw a straight line to save my life, so just so you know. But it don't have to be perfect, because we can make it perfect after. So there's our corner. I'm gonna hold this down. Just basically need to know that this is where we got to cut and get rid of. So at this point, there's really no turning back except not to do it, but we've got this far, so we're gonna do it. So close enough, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the next side. All right, so I got both sides marked. If you can see it, it's hard to see that blue a little bit, but I got both sides marked, and now it's just going to be cutting everything out. So I'm going to start, I guess, on this side, and then we'll work our way to that side. Okay, so I don't know exactly how far back I got to cut. I remember I measured it on the other one, but I can't remember. So I'm going to grab one of the lights and just stick it up there and see exactly how far back I got to go. I think it's a pretty good ways. All right, so I went and got one of the headlights, and you can see why we got to cut so far back to fit that big old ballast. And well, it's actually more like a heat sink than it is a ballast, because these are LEDs. So what we have to do, if you can see, that's how much we lack from it going in. So we have to trim a bunch back of this packing tray, or this tray in here, to get it to fit. So I'm going to start just a little bit at a time and see just how far we have to go. I don't want to cut more than I have to cut, but I know I have to cut quite a bit. So let's start cutting again. All right, let's see what we got. Still think we're going to have to cut more of that packing tray out. Damn. I was hoping not have to, but it looks like we're going to. Let me look at it from the inside. I'm going to do a little bit more trimming on her and see what happens here. I finished trimming that one out and cleaning it up, that headlight, and got my holes put in, and then I went ahead and actually trimmed out the other side and got that headlight put in. I'll let you look at that one. So there's that one put in, and I'm getting ready to put this one in. You don't have to do this, but this is kind of like an off-road golf cart, and it will see water and that kind of stuff. So I put, this will turn clear. It's clear silicone. I'm just gonna clear silicone in behind them lights. I already did this side. That way, you know, you ain't gonna get water or anything up in there, and then I'll probably make a plate to cover the inside of that out of something. I got something in mind. We'll see if it works. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that part. So I'll go ahead and put this headlight in. This headlight. Drop our wire down in here. And put the headlight in. Everything where it's supposed to be. I'll start this screw first. Find my hole. There's our hole. There's my drill. Put her in there like that. And I'm gonna do this top side next. Wish my drill end was magnetic. That would make life a lot easier. So these headlights are not an exact fit for this golf cart. Like I said, the ones for this golf cart are almost 300 bucks, and he did not want to spend that much, and I can't blame him. He wanted it more for the turn signal part anyway. It's just cheaper to buy the whole headlight and do it this way than it is to buy all the pieces you need to just do signal lights. Come on, my hole. So of course it's a little bit, you know, not exact fit is what I'm trying to say, but they will work, and it actually I think looks pretty good. The golf cart itself needs to be lifted in the front end because it sits low. They all do. Mine just has a 6-inch lift on it, my blue one, so that's why it doesn't look like this, but when I first got it, it looked like this. So our headlights are in, and so there it is from the front. I think it looks pretty damn good. It changed the whole way this thing looks, and of course I still got to put his brush guard back on, and we got to fix that light bar because, well, that light bar didn't work, or I couldn't get it to work. I tried all kinds of switches. So it's got a light bar in it. It had wires to it, but there's 2 switches on the dash that do nothing. So let me show you what it looks like from the inside, because these things have like a giant tray that goes across. So hard to see in here because it's dark, but that's what it looks like. And like I said, I think I can make a little cover to just go over top of that, just to, you know, dress it up a little bit from where we had to cut it out. But I think it looks pretty good. Now it's going to be on to the rear, and it's already got taillights in it, but they don't do anything. And there's wire going to them, but they don't do anything. So we got to pull them out and of course cut the hole out, because we're going to put a different style in, the style that came with the kit, and that's these. So he'll have some nice ones. We can mount them this way or this way. It just depends on how it works better for us, basically. I mounted mine sideways in the bottom of the bumper, but his, we're just going to cut out a spot and put them in the bottom there, just like that. So that'll be our next step. So I guess let's get to it. All right, so we're at the back of the golf cart, and we're going to go ahead and pop these taillights out and see how we can mount the other ones. I'm going to start on this side, I guess. These are just rubber push-in style, so just going to take a screwdriver. Some of these pull through and some of them push out. It don't really matter how you do it. You just got to get it past that lip and then roll it out. So like I said, oh, so there is wire in here, but they're not hooked to anything, and boy, that looks rough. So we'll get rid of that, and let's go ahead and pop the other one out and see what we got. Tail light here. Stick my wire in. Okay. It works that way. What about this way? Nope, too tall. So we'll have to go sideways with these and just get it centered, and I think we'll be all right. So I have to get rid of all this other wiring, whatever it goes to. So this is our template, and these are made to actually mount like this, but we're going to mount them sideways. So like I said, I wish they wouldn't have creased these, because it's kind of hard to get it laid out perfect. But so I'll tape that up there, and I'm actually going to make a copy of it with my scanner, and what we'll do is cut it out exactly like this, so I'll have one for the other side, so I can get them lined up exactly by measuring and all that stuff, so it's, you know, not off one way or the other, because I can't stand it when stuff is like that. So OCD kicks in. So I'm gonna make a copy of this and cut it out to have on both sides, and I'm gonna trim this a little bit because I want to be able to see, you know, where everything's gonna be at. On the back here, I got the tail lights traced out and ready to be cut out. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one out first, and then we'll get to that one. I'll probably just show me cutting this one out, and then I'll cut that one out off camera, because you'll pretty much know what I'm doing. I mean, so let's get to it. So got that one cut out and pretty much cleaned up. It looks pretty good, I think. It fits, but just enough, not too tight, but just about perfect. I'll clean it up a little bit more maybe, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut this other side out and get it fit. Alright guys, so went ahead and off camera cleaned them both up and got them put in. I think it looks pretty damn good. I checked them out and they are even and straight. They're as best as I can get it anyways, because the holes that were in there were off just a little bit, so we had to adjust just to make them where they would fit right. But now it is going to be on to wiring. The next step is going to be installing all of this. So this is pretty much just like in a vehicle. It is your headlights on and off, horn, and turn signals. So all it is 4 Phillips head screws, and then it goes around the column wherever you feel like it needs to go, and you tighten it up, and then we run this wire down and it goes inside this boot down here. We'll pull that boot back just a little bit, shove that wire through there, and then we got to find a spot to pretty much mount this box. You can screw it down, or more than likely I'll zip tie it down or zip tie it to something. Someplace preferably that it won't get a lot of moisture, even though I think it is completely waterproof, but I still like to put it in places that it's not going to see as much moisture. But let's go ahead and get these screws backed out. Hopefully I got that backed out enough that it'll just slide over it. We'll find out. I might have to take it out all the way, I don't know. Right in there. Tighten her down a little bit at a time. I got this mounted, and it's got a nice little cover that goes over the back side of that to just dress it up. And then it's also got this part that goes over the steering column to run your wire and get it nice and dressed up. We'll put it on there once we get done. I unplugged this part of the harness from the relay box, because we got to get this part of the harness inside this boot and get it ran. So we're going to do that real quick. Okay, so I got that finally back in there. It was a little dirty, nasty rubber, but we got her back in there. So now I'm going to take this, and it snaps over top of that, just like this. It's a little hard to get on there. Let's see. Get everything lined up. Pop it over it. Get your wire in there. It goes on there like that. Keeps all that stuff looking neat and clean, just like that. Now you got a nice, neat, clean looking steering column. And then we're going to pop this cover on the other side. A screwdriver or something and kind of help these prongs into place, because they're just plastic. There we go. Snapped on there. Now that looks like it came from the factory that way. All right, so next on our to-do list, we have got to do our brake pedal. So what it is, I'll show you, is it's this right here. It's just a rubber pad. Hang on. When you put your foot on it, it activates the switch inside. That's all. So click, 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 that's all it does. And it comes with these screws, and I have never had any luck getting these screws to go into that metal, because this mounts on the brake pedal itself, and it mounts like this in the center of that. You mark your holes and you drill it and screw it down. The problem I've had is those screws are not made from metal. They're just like a regular old sheet metal screw, or just a regular screw. So they don't like to go into this. This is just aluminum is what this is. So what I probably will do is I'm going to find some screws and maybe a tap that I've got that I can just drill it, tap it, and then just put our screws in. Went and found these screws that I have. If I hold them upside the right way, they're just M8 or M4 screws in different lengths. And I found a drill bit that's got a built-in tap. And I held it up there and I marked it. If you can see, it's hard to see on here. The blue dots are where we've got to drill to get everything lined up. So I'm going to take this punch basically, and you just stick it on where your blue mark is, and you push. Well, it's supposed to click, but it's not wanting to click. There we go. But there we go. That's pretty good. So all it does is put a little dent in whatever you're trying to drill, and that makes it a lot easier when it comes to holding your drill bit still. You know, you're not walking all over the place trying to hold it in that spot. These work great. This is not a very good one. It came in a set. It was a cheapo that came with something off of Amazon I ordered. But I've got a better one that works fantastic. It's got a nice handle on it and a grip. And you just punch it on whatever you're going to, drill out. And it makes a nice little score mark. But, so got that mark there and here. So I'm going to drill out this one first. And then we can set our pad on there and hopefully get the other ones lined up and also drilled. So I always like to do one at a time because, you might be off one way or the other, and it's easier to fix when you get one in it than it is all of them. And I broke our drill bit right off. Ain't that nice? At least it didn't break off inside it. It broke off somewhere else. But that sucks. So now we're going to have to do it a different way. But, oh well. Let's see if one of these will fit in there. If I can get one of these in, then I can just kind of drill and then use that maybe to finish it out. It is a very small piece, but it works so well. Because see, now you got just a perfect hole that's threaded, and it goes right in. Oh well. So let me see if I can find another drill bit that's close to that, and we'll go from there. Found a different one that's pretty close. It's not a metric, it's standard, but I think I can make it work. And I'm going to use a little bit of this lube on it this time, this cutting lube, to help hopefully the friction in it not break. So now I'm going to switch back to the bit that was broke, and I'm just going to try to just get the threads. Oh yeah, no problem. Goes right in. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and knock these out real fast, and we'll be back after. Well, I'm just going to speed you through it. So here we go. I put them in the first time just to get them good and lined up, and then I went back, I pulled them out individually, and I put some of this Loctite. It's called Hot Locker. It's actually made for your motor and stuff to put in, say, exhaust studs or something like that that's going to get really hot. But it'll work for this. Once it cures, you won't have to worry about these bolts ever coming out if you don't want them to. I mean, it ain't gonna be like you can't get them out, but it'll help from them backing out from vibration. So next thing we're gonna do, or I'm gonna do, you guys ain't gonna be able to probably see much of anything, and it's gonna be hard to get underneath this thing and show you anything. I've got to run all the wiring and start connecting everything and zip tying. So with that being said, I am going to crawl up underneath this thing, which is, you know, about as high as my foot. So I'm going to probably jack up the front of it some so I can get underneath it better. Definitely going to put on some safety glasses because this thing's got some mud packed under it. and I've got to start running my wiring and getting it all tied together, and then ran to the battery. So once I get it put on the battery, or get to the point where I'm going to put it on the battery, I'll show that part of it. But from here till there, I'm just gonna pretty much get everything to the point that it's ready to be wired up and ready to go, basically. Got all the wiring ran. Nothing is zip tied yet. I'll show you what I got. Hang on, if you can see. So in the front, underneath, I know it's hard to see, this is our headlight wire. I got our horn. I got to finish, I don't have these terminals like pushed all the way on or that tightened down. I need to clock the horn a little bit different. And then of course we're gonna zip tie all this wiring up out of the way. I've got, this was for his light bar in the front. I ran it a different route. Got everything out from in front of the steering where it was at. Everything runs way up there, across, and comes down the frame on this side. So once I get it all zip tied up, everything will be perfectly good and out of the way. So we got that, and then in here I've got your hazard light switch, and I took out the center console piece right here because I've got to fix his wiring for this, and of course I've got the radio coming. So in the next episode of this, we'll be doing the radio and finishing the wiring and all that stuff on it. What I wanted to do was get this part of this done, and then I can pretty much zip tie all the wiring up and everything together once the radio gets here. But that'll be in part 2. In here we've just got the factory harness and some of the stuff. This is the wiring that we put in. It's all in this loom. It runs across, and of course, like I said, I haven't zip tied anything yet, so it's not going to stay like this. But it runs to this light, and for right now I've got it hooked to just a battery with a set of good old vice grips, and we're going to see if everything works. If everything works, then I'll zip tie and get ready for the radio. The radio will be here in a couple days. I ordered it all, but I don't want to finish everything with this until we get the radio, because then I got to run more wire. I got to run the speakers. It would just be, I would have to take everything apart twice. I don't want to do that. So this is basically, we got our lights in, we got our signals, brake lights, all that stuff in, but I just want to test everything, so let's see what happens. So here's headlights. Oh yeah, they work. So there's our headlights, nice and bright. Let's see if turn signals work. There is the driver's side. Let's check the back. The back is working. Our running lights or tail lights are on. So let's check the other side. Turn the headlights off. So here is passenger side working. Let's check it in the back. Definitely working. And then I'm not going to be able to see it, but I'm going to set the camera back here and see if we got brake lights. I'm going I'll go back and look at the footage and see if they actually come on. All right, so I did go back and look at the footage, and they are working. They're just, that pedal is, you got to press it really hard. When you're sitting in it, it's a lot easier. So I think it's just where I'm trying to stand up and push it, but they do work. So everything's working. The only thing I haven't tried is the hazards and the horn. So horn works. Woo! Let's see if the hazards work. Oh yeah, definitely working. So we got hazard lights. Make sure in the back. Yep, we got hazard lights. So yeah, we are looking good. So I'll show you. This is what I pulled out the center of, and it's been in there a very long time, and it's very dirty. So this thing had a tape deck in it. I haven't seen a friggin' tape deck in friggin' years. So we're gonna pull that out, and I ordered a radio that's a Marina radio. This switch will be for his light bar when I put it back in, and then this hole right here was, they had this switch, whatever, I have no idea what that went to, in there. But I'm going to use that hole for our hazard lights, and then this was an on and off switch for this little light. And believe it or not, I hooked that little light up and it still works. It's just the wiring to it is pretty rough. So I might rewire that. But this thing had a radio in it at one point, and I'm going to pull all that out and put in a new upgraded radio, and we'll have to cut out for the face of it to fit in and all that good stuff, and then we got to run our wiring. That is why I'm not going to get much more into this until I get the other parts. That way we can do it all at once and be done, if that makes sense. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. For all the new guys that I've had, thank you. My last video done extremely well. So y'all give me a like, share, comment, and we'll see you on the next one, guys.